So, my name is Peter. I'm 5'6". I take a 38-inch jacket. I have a 32-inch waist. I wear a size 7 shoe. And I have a 31-inch inside leg. How weird is that? Imagine in a social situation that you introduced yourselves based on your features. How much do you think people would like you? But yet, every business person that I ever meet introduces their business with the features. And then they wonder why it doesn't work. So to try and explain this a little better, I brought along a little friend of mine. Everybody see him? Anybody guess what I call him? I call him with chips. Takes a moment for that to sink in, doesn't it? And then I get this horrified look. You can't eat him. Now, but you see, the thing is, ladies and gentlemen, it's very, very simple. If God hadn't intended us to eat fish, he wouldn't have made them out of food. Now, why did I bring him here with me today? There's a very good reason. For decades, we laughed at with Chips's 9-second attention span. Remember that? We used to all say the goldfish has a 9-second attention span. 2 years ago, Microsoft in Canada scientifically measured the human attention span has dropped to less than 8 seconds. Less than the goldfish. It dropped by 9.5 seconds in a decade. So why does that matter? Why do you need to know that? Because I believe we need to rethink how we introduce ourselves, how we explain to people what we do. So I'd like to take you back to the 6th of October 2 years ago. I was bringing a friend of mine to an early morning networking meeting in Dublin Chamber. 7 o'clock in the morning. I pulled up outside Porrick's house. He got in, and I was worried about Porrick. He's a small guy. Bald. Very little in the way of distinguishing features. The only person in the world I know that makes me feel tall. And I got in the car, and I sat there and I said, Porrick, how are you going to, explain yourself to people when you get there to grab their attention? And he said, ha. He was really proud of himself. He said, I was thinking about this all night. I interview people on the radio. I edit it into a lovely podcast. I upload it onto Mixcloud. And I send them the link so they can use it for their social media marketing. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I was bored rigid about halfway through that. And I said, Porrick, you need to shorten that down and give it way more punch. He stood there, or sat there, should I say, gobsmacked. He wasn't expecting that. He'd been up all night. And he said, what if I just say I do interviews and podcasts? I thought, Christ on a bike, that's even worse than the first one. Because what he didn't understand was, it's not what we do. It's what our customers get, what really matters. And I had a little bit of an insight into this because I had been using his service for podcasts for about 6 months. And a really strange thing happened that I wasn't expecting. I would go to evenings like this, I would go to networking, I would go to conferences, I would go to trade shows. And somebody I never met before was guaranteed to walk up to me and go, are you that guy on LinkedIn? I go, yeah, that's me. And they go, wow, keep it up, I love what you do. So what had it done? Porrick's podcasts got me a notoriety that I wasn't expecting. So I just turned to him, I looked and I said, Porrick, why don't you just say I make people famous? Horror came across his face, ladies and gentlemen. He said, I can't say that to people, they'll think I'm a spanner. So I said, fine, off you go. In he went into the room, wandered around for the next half hour, this is what it is and this is what it does. I met him, I said, well, how's it going? He said, it's dreadful, nobody wants to know, nobody cares. Nobody's interested, I should have stayed in bed. Before he could move, I spotted 4 people over in the corner. I took him by the elbow, I pushed him into the corner, and I said, guys, Meet my friend Porrick. He makes people famous. And what do you think happened? The four of them, like meerkats. And then the onslaught happened. Vroom! How can you make me famous? How can you make me famous? 2 weeks later, going into another Dublin Chamber event, I met one of the girls, Sinead, who was in that group. I said, well, how'd you get on with Porrick? Do you think you might do business? She said, might. I'm doing my 4th podcast this afternoon. So the question I have for you is, do you think that would have happened like that? Or more importantly, happened that quickly with your pitch? Imagine if we could figure out your equivalent of I make people famous. Imagine what that would do. Because what happened with Porrick was very simple. They wanted what he did before they knew what it was. What do you think that meant to what he could charge? Just think about that for a moment. Think about how that would make a difference to you.